Welcome to the Charlotte Women's Basketball Press Conference. Charlotte coming off a loss at Tulane on Wednesday and preparing to take on Temple on Sunday inside Halton Arena. Coach, we kind of open up to you for opening statements.
Well, yeah, we've been, score-wise, kind of going through a little bit of a tough stretch right here. Obviously, got off to a really great start and had a couple losses, but I think it's really important, for us as a program, just to not to get too high or too low. When you look at it statistically, we're 8 points away from being 7-1 or 8-1 instead of 5-4. 8 points. And so I think if we dwell on the fact that, some of those games we weren't able to close and we lost by 1 point or 2 points or 5 points, and don't focus on the fact that, a couple possessions go a different direction, things maybe feel a lot different. So I think it's just really important for us as a group to stay connected, to stay together, and not allow, the result right now to affect our confidence or, what we need to do moving forward, because, this is the big message I've given our team over the last week and a half is this is a game of inches. And the first part of conference season, the inches were on our side. Right now, the inches haven't been on our side, and that's a game of basketball. But we can't allow that to affect our focus, our confidence, or our belief in ourselves moving forward. I hope and I think that everybody on this team and part of this program still knows that we're a really good team. But we have to do some small things to close those gaps and shorten those inches, and that's what our focus is as we move forward.
Coach, you kind of already, answered my question, or at least part of it, talking about, those close, narrow games. Is there anything specific, you talk about a game of inches and those, finite things to hone in on. What are a few of those things? And then, Deja, you can follow.
Well, I think, we've been really clear about what some of those are. I think for us, defensively, we've not been very disciplined. So we're fouling, which is either resulting in players we need on the court, on the bench, or playing a great defensive possession and giving up a foul and giving up easy points from the free throw line. Locking in on personnel. I think defensively in terms of scouting report and game plan, we've actually played really well, but just not being focused on personnel, giving up an open three to somebody we shouldn't give a three up to, running at somebody who should be a driver, so on and so forth. And those are just little tiny focus issues that, over a course of 40 minutes, we're just not doing really well right now. And then I think this biggest, problem on offense still is our turnovers. Our offense has improved tremendously. But, even when you look at the Tulane game, we had several opportunities in the third quarter and fourth quarter where we could have pulled away. Third quarter, we had, in a span of 4 minutes, we had 5 turnovers. Where you can't pull away if you don't have the opportunity to put yourself in that position. So the things that are happening to us, we know, but we have to stop talking about it, and we have to start being about it and fixing it.
Yeah, she pretty much said everything. Just being, getting back to how we started defensively really is the main thing that we have to switch.
Coach, you talked before about experiencing some harder times in non-conference play. What can you take from those tough times that you can learn now in this to try to snap this losing skid?
Well, I think, the biggest thing is we always bounce back. And that's part of our culture and who we are here at Charlotte. Toughness is our T when we say play with heart. And part of being tough is having the mental fortitude and, I think emotional toughness to, again, not get wrapped up in the 3 losses rather than being able to look at that and say, man, we're right there. We're right there. A couple things go a different direction. We're feeling a lot different today. And that's just toughness. And I think we've done that. I mean, we've had those moments, as you mentioned, in the non-conference. And our team has always bounced back. And I do not expect anything different. I expect that this team will absolutely bounce back.
With Deja specifically, her consistency has been so impressive. How would you describe her impact on a day-to-day basis that helps out your team? And, of course, Deja can follow.
Well, I think it starts with Deja in practice every day. I think that is a big difference in her career, from her first couple years here at Charlotte to who she is now, is just her consistency every single day in practice. I mean, there were times when she was younger where I'd have to pull her over and be like, hey, what's going on today? You're not bringing the juice today. You're not the player we need you to be in practice today. Where now at this point in her career, it's very rare, if ever, that happens. So, consistency in games don't start in games. It starts in how you approach practice every single day. And Deja is very intentional about what she brings to practice. She's very intentional about her routine. You know, even game day, like she's not just walking out there to warm up. She's already been in the gym for shoot around. She's already got her own routine of shots up. I mean, she's very intentional. And, you know, I believe, and I think she believes, and she can say this herself, that, you know, when you operate, you know, in an intentional way, it just allows you to be more consistent. And, you know, I think that's a big reason why she's playing that way.
Yeah, just to harp off what Coach said, I just know, like she said, I just have to bring it every day. My teammates look at me as a leader, so I know if I'm doing what I need to do, they will follow my lead. And just like Coach said again, it's all in the routine. My journey hasn't always been where I'm sitting at today in this position. I haven't always been looked at as a leader, but it always started with practice with me and just gaining that consistency. And as the more consistent I am, the more that my teammates will follow my lead, and hopefully I'm just following my footsteps, because my journey hasn't been easy here. So I just think just continuing to learn and grow as a leader and a player on and off the court will help me, but also my teammates will look at me and say, like, I want to follow Deja's lead.
Coach, as you shift focus back to Temple, you know, this squad's still fresh on the brain, just having played them a couple games ago. What needs to change? It was one of those close games, 5-point loss. I'm sure 25 turnovers probably wasn't in the winning recipe for you guys.
Well, the two things I opened the press conference with, we were in foul trouble. We had both Deja and Tracy on the bench for the majority of the first half of that game. And the turnovers were a super issue for us in terms of, you know, when you have your two leading scorers on the bench and just struggling through foul trouble, you know, we can't then turn around and limit our opportunities to score even more. And it was just a struggle. We just couldn't find any rhythm because of those two things. You know, again, I felt like defensively we played well enough in that game. We just offensively couldn't really get a rhythm until the fourth quarter. And even in the fourth quarter, I mean, it took a furious comeback for us really throughout that quarter and even in the last minute and a half. And we did have an opportunity to get a stop and then maybe tie that game, but we couldn't get that last stop that we needed. So, you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, again, hopefully working on our discipline these next 2 days in practice and being able to feel like we can compete with them with, you know, our full team and not being in foul trouble.
Coach, you're revving hot. Like, you can feel the intensity right now. Is that urgency prevailing throughout your program? Do you sense it like it's time?
Well, it's going to. I don't know if it is, but we've been off. So we got back and we've been off. So I have not seen the team since our game. But I think, yeah, my urgency is here because, you know, I just had a staff meeting. I'm talking to our staff, and we're talking about the same thing. So over this 3-game skid, we're talking about the same things. And I think it's a good thing that we can identify, you know, what are, you know, what are the things that have been detrimental to us in finding those inches. But again, at some point, we got to make those changes. And that's what I want to see from our team. Like everything I said, we got to stay tough. We got to stay confident. We have to continue to believe. But we also have to have action. And it's really important for us in the next 2 days to find some action behind the things that we need to improve.
And Deja, from a player's perspective, you've been at the top. You've seen what it's like or felt what it's like to be at the top of the conference and be the team that everybody's gunning for. And now you've fallen back to the pack. What's it like in the locker room right now as you want to get back?
We just want to get back to the winning side, you know. For us, it's not about first, second, third. It's not about where we are in the stand. It's just about getting better each day. So we're just ready to get better, to prepare for Temple and just go get a win. And this game on Sunday is much bigger than us, so we just want to play for K and also just get back on that winning side. You know, we're just hungry. We're just hungry.
Deja, I think everyone in this room knows you can be one of the best players on the court with the ball in your hands, especially.
Mm-hmm.
What's the key to getting back on track? You had some big games early in the conference stretch, but have quieted down a little bit as of late.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the key to getting back offensively?
I just think staying aggressive and staying confident in myself. I know at times I can be in my head a lot or just get a little discouraged throughout the game, but I think just staying aggressive and believing in myself and my abilities and also believing in my teammates, just so if I'm not doing what I need to do, that I can trust them to hold it down. So just staying consistent and believing in myself, that's probably the biggest thing, and just staying aggressive.
Absolutely.
Coach, last game against because Temple was a sloppy offensive performance, and Temple's actually within conference play. They're second in the conference, only averaging 59 points per game. Kind of what makes their defense challenging to attack?
Well, they're really athletic. They're really long. I mean, their posts, their guards, top to bottom, are very big. I mean, that's been really one of the biggest adjustments that we've had to make coming into the American is just how much bigger I think the teams that have been in the American are compared to Conference USA teams. And so, obviously when you're bigger, you're longer, athletic, you cover ground a lot better. And I think that, they do a really good job of that. They also came out and pressed us in that game, which they had not shown any press prior to that. So caught us off guard a little bit, and I think that obviously hurt, just not just the turnovers, but just our rhythm offensively. I thought Olivia Porter, our point guard, had a really tough game. And, anytime your point guard is not playing great, the offense just isn't flowing as great. Not that it's, you're not pointing fingers to her, but there was a variety, I think, of reasons that just offensively we couldn't get it going. But the good thing about that is there's lots of space to improve.
Deja, you talked about your journey here. Can you talk about what kind of got you through the tough times, the injuries and sitting out and all that kind of stuff?
I think just having that belief in myself and just knowing that the people around me believed in me as well. You can't get through hard times without believing in yourself, but also the support that I had to get through whatever I was going through here it helped me tremendously. Me and Coach Carey had a lot of conversations just about her belief in me and what she thinks I can bring to this program. So I just think having that belief and having the mentality to get better every single day and just being present in any way that I can when I wasn't practicing, which is growing as a leader, encouraging my teammates, whatever that was. So just staying positive, being resilient, and just willing to be whatever I could be or do whatever I could do in that time, and just willing to play whatever role I was asked to play during that time. So just being positive, belief, and just having that strong support system.
Coach, you kind of mentioned you've been pleased for the most part, with the offensive performance in the last few games. It seems like JC's gotten more involved. Has that been a point of emphasis to try to get JC more shots?
Yes. Yes. JC, if you listen to this, shoot. Yes. Obviously JC is shooting the ball really well and has been, but she doesn't take enough shots. And so that has certainly been, something that we've been talking to her about a lot, both just one-on-one and I think a little bit more recently, like within practice, and trying to just run some stuff for her to give her some open shots, because we need, I think as we continue to go, everybody game plans for Deja and everybody game plans for Tracy. You asked about Deja's production not being, well, that's because everybody game plans for her, right? You're in conference play. It's very, very different than it is in non-conference or it is in your first couple of conference games. And so every game we go moving forward, it's going to be harder and harder for Deja to get to her spots, or it should be if our opponents are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And that's when we need other people to step up and be able to make some shots so that all the attention isn't on her or on Tracy or on whomever. So yes, I think JC is really important to what we're doing. We're really encouraging her to take more shots. We really like the shots that she took at Tulane. She shot the ball well, but she took really good shots, and that needs to continue.
All right, thank you guys for joining us. This concludes the Charlotte Women's Basketball Press Conference.
All right, thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it.